All right.
Okay. Well, I've heard Monster Squad's good.
50%.
Really? And doesn't it have a dog?
Yes.
Like, does it? I mean, does it even have a dog? I mean,
It has a dog and a werewolf.
okay.
It's the Goonies and their dog take on the Universal monster movies. Like monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know. I kind of knew that part of it. It's just,
There's
huh,
even a transformation scene I've heard.
interesting.
So in theory, it might be good.
In theory.
Also, it was free on YouTube.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
Yeah, this podcast is giving so many particles off to me that I'm dying. Uh, no, that's just the COVID.
That's just the code.
Aha! Welcome to Rough Cuts. My name's Ilian. This is our co-host.
Hello.
Brooks. Just so you know, I think actually for an intro, I just might do the monster. Rap.
The monster. It's a good rap.
I
don't.
I think that's a good intro.
It's not often.
So I've already done that. So I don't know. I guess I'll keep. This is all staying in. I'm too sick. I've got COVID.
It's
Fuck
not
it.
often we
I'm
get
editing
a
this week.
song with our movie that's good.
No
There was like
editing.
Cool Dog, right? Cool Dog had a song that was good. Cool Dog.
That's one cool dog.
And I'm like
Yeah.
every once in a while you get a song
Yeah.
that's like it's just telling you the movie. This is that.
And also, it's terrible.
Yeah, there was a Nightmare on Elm Street song I was referencing while we were listening to it, which is by I think the Fat Boys, which is ironic given this film.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
and that is Freddy's
considering-
dead, and it's all singing about how
Yeah.
Freddy's gonna get you, and it's super early '90s, late '80s rap, and that is exactly this.
Fred Krueger's the name. You know my game. Elm Street's the place. You got the time. Listen to this. You'll bust the ride.
Yes, yeah. This is that a lot. So we watched Monster Squad.
Mhm.
This is our podcast about good boys and bad movies. We do bad dog movies, and then immediately, like minutes after watching it, start talking about our thoughts on it, which, oh boy, is a good idea. Definitely.
So it is spooky month.
It's
And I don't know when
spooky.
you're listening to this, of course, but right now it is October, and we like to do more. I mean, we do horror throughout the year. You know what? It's just an excuse to watch a Halloweeny movie, all right?
It's the listen. It's the scariest day possible where you have to go home and visit your family. That's right. It's Canadian
That's
Thanksgiving.
right.
So
That's right.
we decided to watch Monster Squad as it's thematic for seeing your family.
The only thing scarier is LMAO. But Monster Squad, that's right.
Party rocking in the house tonight.
It's the story about
I don't know how you figured out what Canadian Thanksgiving is all about, which is the party
the
rock.
party rock
that's in the
anthem.
house.
Yeah,
Tonight.
That's right. It's the story about the Universal monsters coming to attack a bunch of kids and then deciding that they're cool and giving them superpowers to fight other monsters, and then they kill them all. That's right. It's Big Bad Beetleborgs. Because that's a reference I know.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Big Bad Beetleborgs was the attempt to turn a Zentai series from
Why are we
Japan
talking- Okay.
into a Universal monster movie, characters giving kids Power Rangers costume outfits.
But our podcast is about Monster
And-
Squad. We didn't watch Big Bad
And
Beetleborgs.
this is the Monster Squad, which is
boys.
about
The
Universal
boys.
monster
It's
movie
different.
characters.
Yeah, but that sounds rad, and this was...
Oh, it's not.
This was
Don't
okay.
worry, it's not rad. This movie, okay, so
No.
87. '87. It's important to know when this came out because this is very much a amalgam of influences for its time. And that amalgam is what? The Goonies? E.T. Ghostbusters a little bit with the sarcastic commentary
like Red Dawn
and stuff. And the poster I sent you even had like a "Who You Gonna Call" joke on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
They're trying to hit that sweet spot of this stuff just came out a couple years ago, and we want to do all of that, but with universal monsters. So the idea is, how do we get kids on a bike to fight the Wolfman and the creature from the Black Lagoon and Dracula and his wives, I guess?
Yeah, and the answer is, I don't know, just fucking throw them in the movie when it doesn't make sense. Who gives a shit? We'll just have them all meet up coincidentally. Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
The plot is like this isn't a movie that you watch for the plot anyways, in the same way that Goonies or something isn't. But also Goonies stays like consistent in its world building and stuff, and I think that's good and important. And this movie doesn't do that. Like it's
I do feel like Stranger Things, which is something that is also, because that's an amalgam of these types of films, at least when it started.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Stranger Things is different now, I think. But at least when it started, there's a character in this movie called Rudy, who is the, 50s greaser kid in the leather jacket, smoking Marlboro.
I was gonna say who I'm pretty sure was a Marlboro's ad.
That kid was a Marlboro ad, yeah.
Did they still do those in the 80s? Because I kind of felt like that was like after the 70s.
I think early.
This is 87 too. It's
early
not like
90s. I think
81.
Is when the Joe Camel stuff kind of went down. So I think this is before they killed Joe Camel. Like they took Joe Camel. Joe Camel.
When they killed Joe Camel. The joke
they took him out back.
Who's that?
They took him out back and shot him with a shotgun, and then told the kids that they sent him upstate with his Marlboros. Like this is before that time.
Yeah, they have very conspicuous Marlboro packaging all over this kid all the time, and I'm like, he's like 15.
But this movie also falls into like the Porky's, the Revenge of the Nerds, like gross stuff. With how they treat
that's where
people.
It really falls apart.
Yeah. Like, if you haven't watched Revenge of the Nerds in, I don't know, 20 years, it is bad. It is fucking bad. It treats women badly. It ogles women. It calls people awful names. It has a terrible scene, which I don't want to talk about. This has parts of that, where they're trying to fit into that 80s comedy.
Yeah, I will say that it doesn't... It's far from the worst of those.
Yes, yeah. And it does eventually come around on some of those near the end. A little bit. Especially with one of the characters, where it's like, hey, fuck you, by the way.
Yeah.
But it could have done it better. That's the only thing. So...
Yes. I was gonna say, okay, you saying it could have done it better... Put that on the fucking box of this goddamn movie. Because this movie, I do not hate this movie. I don't dislike this movie. I think it's pretty good. But also, if you're going to be like, hey, do you want to watch like a Kids on Bikes 80s movie? This is going to be middle of the pack at best. Yeah. Right? Like, it's worse than E.T., it's worse than Goon. Like, it's trying to do all of the things that those movies do, but it does all of it slightly worse. It's just, everything's just a little bit worse. It's not as good as any of them. It's
frustrating, I think, is where I'm at on this movie. I wish this part was better. I wish this part was better. Because there's little glimmers of fucking gold in this thing.
Yes.
Where I'm like, oh, absolutely. Shit, that is so funny. That is so good.
Wolfman's gone cards!
They kicked the Wolfman in the balls!
And they have it set up beforehand, where they're talking about whether the Wolfman's got a dingus.
Does he have a dingus?
And then they're like,
he had to wear pants. Of course he has a dingus. Yeah, but it was the 20s.
And it's like, no, he can't have a dingus.
It was the 30s. He had to wear pants on screen.
Yeah, so they're yelling at each other, and then they meet the Wolfman, and the guy's like, kick him in the nards! And he goes, but he don't got no nards. And it's like, no, kick him! And he like, kicks him in the nards, and he goes, holy shit, Wolfman's got nards! Well, Wolfman's like on the ground howling in pain.
Stuff like that, I'm like, god damn.
It does it well, that's fun.
And it does, like, it does kids, like, swearing to each other and just being kind of little shits to each other mostly well.
But it's too accurate
mostly
to
well,
that is the
except
problem.
for when it's too accurate. Because I do think
it has a lot of slurs in the beginning.
At the beginning, there's the slur problem, which then it gets away
like
from.
6 in the first 5 minutes.
It gets away from,
and it never drops another one. It never drops another one for the rest of the movie. But there is like 6 in the first 5 minutes of the movie,
which is rough.
It's
just rough.
Whoomp.
And there's a certain crowd that's like, I wish kids' movie would swear more. I wish kids' movies would show them, doing this or that.
Show the gore.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I think I agree. And this movie hits that sweet spot of like, this is good stuff, and it's also okay for kids for most of it. And I'm like, I do kind of wish some more kids horror adjacent stuff, Halloween-y stuff would do that more nowadays.
You need your Gremlins.
Yeah.
You need your like.
And it's
I like
hard.
that stuff. I really liked, as an example, I thought Krampus was great.
Yes.
Unironically, that movie got bad reviews. I don't get it, because that movie fucking slaps. That movie's great. Like, not even just like good. That movie's literally great. But yeah, that kind of thing is nice. Like, I don't think that every kid's movies should be, adult oriented in a way. Like,
true.
But I do think that there is room for kids need to grow up, and they know about gore and stuff. And like, having an entryway into that where it's not super gory, but then they're not just jumping into fucking Saw, because you get that's the thing is that kids go from nothing to Saw, and it's like
they get desensitized really quickly to it. Whereas I got desensitized by being on the internet in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Which I'm glad that's gone. At the very least.
Welcome to Live Leak.
Fucking Christ. But I think like treating kids like they aren't stupid, and realizing that they watch horror movies and they know, and I think Stranger Things to an extent hit that sweet spot too when they were trying to hit it, at least in the early seasons.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I get it. I get wanting to go back to that nostalgic feeling. And this movie is super fucking 80s.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to point out, we were talking about is middle of the road though. Mm-hmm. So I was looking at 87. 87 is not a great year for horror movies. Like, this is past the prime of a lot of the horror movies. There were 4 good ones throughout the entire year. 4 good ones.
I would say 87 is starting to hit that era where, like, because 80s, there's a lot of really classic, like, 80s actions and stuff. And, like, they're all more early.
They're
80s.
early.
This is kind of that turning point where it starts getting to the 90s stuff. And it's just...
Because this is when you're hitting, like, the...
starts really dropping.
My boyfriend's a zombie, or my whatever's a vampire, or Zombie High, or where they're all just trying to live off the movies that came out 5 years ago and parody it or try to cop it, which this does too. And the 4 movies that are good, there were 4 movies that whole year horror that were good. There's Evil Dead 2,
fucking classic,
Hellraiser, The Lost Boys.
Yeah, I did see that came
and Nightmare on Elm Street 3: The Dream Warriors. Which is the 3rd best Nightmare on Elm Street movie, so I'm counting it.
I'd love to hear your ranking of them, but let's get back to Monster Squad.
But here's what you have to compare it against, because the rest of the movies that year were Munchies, Creepshow 2, which is a horrible disaster compared to Creepshow, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Whoa.
The Garbage Day.
Yes,
That's the Garbage Day movie.
Yeah.
There's Ghoulies 2, which I bet you've never seen a Ghoulies movie.
I have not.
We saw a Munchies movie. We saw Munchies.
Yes, I know about Munchies and Ghoulies.
Yeah, and the other movie that I would say is notable of this year is Jaws 4, where they killed Jaws for good.
Yeah. It's a real
Like it's a bad year for horror.
Yeah, it's a real downturn from like Halloween.
Yeah.
But
so in that context, this is probably one of the better horror movies of the year.
Almost certainly.
When it came out. And I'm like,
sure.
I get why people kind of... There is, I think, a little bit of a cult following for this film.
I think it's deserved. I did like this movie. I just feel that it's worse than so many of the other ones. Like, as an example...
It's hard not to compare.
One that I wanted to go back to, because we mentioned, like... we're going to talk about this a lot in a way, and I'm going to try not to compare it too much, but it's almost impossible to do it because it wants to be Goonies so bad. Like, it's so desperate to be Goonies. But the thing is that, like, we were talking about how it gets really sweary and stuff, and that's kind of nice that it's accurate to kids. And I said the problem is where it gets too accurate, and it's the slurs. But I'd also like to expand on that a little bit, in that it's not just the slurs. Like, because as an example, Goonies is accurate to kids, but it's not really, because kids aren't that clever with the things that they're saying.
Right.
Whereas Goonies is. And, like, Goonies has... They're being mean to Chunk, for example, whose name is Chunk. They call him Chunk. He's the fat kid, and they call him Chunk.
He's the
and
fat
that's
kid.
mean. That sucks. Like, when you think about it, that does kind of suck, and they kind of pick on him for it a little bit. But there's also, like, a little bit of cleverness to it that... I'm not saying it makes it acceptable, but it adds something to some of those things. And, like, there's a lot of cleverness to the dialogue and to the characters talking back and forth. Whereas when you get... And Goonies has its own problems, too, don't get me wrong. It's not a perfect movie. But this one does the Chunk thing, but what's the kid's nickname?
In this movie? Fat Kid.
Fat Kid.
Yeah.
It's so on the nose with it. Like, the kids aren't clever.
They're call him Fat
bastards,
Kid. Everybody calls him Fat Kid. It's not even, like, just the main squad. It's the bullies. It's his friends. It's everybody.
Yep.
And until he takes a shotgun and blasts the creature from the Black Lagoon in the fucking chest, then he's Horace.
Yes. Yeah, and then the bullies go, "Wow, good job, Fat Kid," and he's like,
he does
Horace.
like the Evil Dead thing. He's like, fuck
hell
you,
yeah,
groovy.
Yes, which that kind of like that does kind of rule, but
yeah,
just in a general, like, I'm trying to think of other examples, but just like the dialogue isn't as snappy as you'd like.
It's mean spirited, I think, is what comes across. It's way more mean spirited than fun, I guess. It's not trying to be like silly. It's just,
they're being
fuck you.
Like there's the meanness that's got like a little bit of cleverness to it that kind of feels more playful, even if ultimately it kind of isn't when you think about it really hard. But this one doesn't even have the playfulness, like cleverness about it. It's just mean sometimes, and it's like, ugh. It just gets a little bit hard sometimes because of that.
Here's a related question: have you seen many of the Friday the 13th movies? Because those movies are not good.
I have seen none of the Friday the 13th movies.
Do you want to do that again without hitting the mic, or?
It's just...
I'm going to point it out.
Like, I know. I'm like, God damn it, I know that I hit it. Well, it's too late now. I've got COVID. I'm editing this one. I'm not taking anything out. This is the fucking rawest goddamn podcast we've ever done, motherfucker.
What I'm getting at is, so after Friday the 13th Part 4, the final part, where they kill Jason for the final time, and he's definitely dead.
And he doesn't show up in space ever again.
Yeah, they rebooted the series for Part 5.
Sure.
And in Part 5, there's a guy at the beginning of the movie who's basically the fat kid with candy bars falling out of his pockets.
Sure.
And it's the worst, most caricature, terrible writing you've ever seen. And that's how this character feels. Like they just didn't put any thought or effort into it, and they're just like, I don't know, it's the fat kid. And then they stop thinking about it.
Yeah, that goes for kind of everyone.
Yeah, everybody's like a one-note character, I think, is the other problem.
And that goes for the plot. Because I'd like to... Let's get into the plot a bit.
Yeah, we can talk about the plot. So, the basic plot is Squad kills the Universal monsters, right?
Yes.
That's the basic plot. How they get there is very convenient.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing, is that... God, because I had this moment later on in the movie where the monsters are in this house at 666 Shadowbrook Lane, which that's
nobody
awesome.
bats an eye
That
at.
rules. But like little things like that, I don't mind it being goofy. It doesn't need to always make sense. But the thing is that it needs to stay in its own universe, if that makes sense. Why didn't they say, like, oh, this was where Van Helsing died? But they don't, and it's not. But somehow, it has the amulet that Van Helsing was using to trap Dracula in it.
It's just arbitrarily the house from 100 years ago. Yeah.
Yes. It's just an Well, but it wasn't the same house.
It's the house where Van Helsing hid the amulet, I guess.
But he didn't hit it because he got trapped in limbo, so somebody else moved it to here.
Well, clearly it was the pirate. We saw his skeleton.
But right, like, and so, but then they're in this house,
Yeah.
and they're trapped by Dracula, and he goes, what are we gonna do? Oh no, like, we're stuck in this hall, and he starts grabbing everything around them, and it's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, there's gotta be a secret lever somewhere.
Why?
Why?
Because there was a secret lever in Goonies. That's why.
And there is, and there's a secret lever, and it drops them, but it's like, this is just a house. This is just a random house that they found.
I think that particular scene was absolutely just them referencing Goonies because of the pirate skeleton afterwards. That was just hey, look, we're Goonies, and then they moved on.
But that sucks.
It does. It does.
That's the thing, is that sucks.
It does a lot of, hey, remember this, and then it references something, and then does that thing that it's referencing. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But they could have easily just said, oh, we happen to be in the town that this was originally happening in, and this is the house that he had, and, like, he hit it downstairs. Like, they could have done that. They could have easily set that all up. And they
were too busy setting up kicking the Wolfman in the balls. I don't think they have time for that.
Like, that's the thing, is they set up, like, kicking the Wolfman in the nuts, but they don't set up that there's, like, the spooky haunted mansion, or where Van Helsing did all of his stuff, or had his amulet,
right?
Or how the kid gets a book that is the magic book that's specifically, like, the German Van Helsing diary in his Midwest American town. Like, his mom just finds it.
She just has it. Yeah, okay.
She just has it at the beginning of the movie.
As far as the plot goes, there's the Van Helsing attacking Dracula's castle 100 years ago, which apparently has been leveled since then. It's just gone.
Yeah.
In modern
day. I imagine that it's not in America.
No.
Because they're all speaking German.
They're all German, like, and there's a little German girl who's going like, oh, they gave up blood smoking with the castle and the Dracula.
I looked up, so I know a bit of German. And I had to look this up because I'm like, this doesn't seem like it's making sense. I'm like, I haven't done German in a long time, and I was never great at it. But I'm like, this doesn't seem to make sense. I'm like, so what are they saying? And I looked up a translation, and it's like, there's some words that are accurate, but most
they're just making shit up.
They're just making up fake. It's just fake fucking German.
God,
like, oh my god.
See, that's why you got to watch the subs and not the dub, because the dub screws it up sometimes. I watch all my German movies.
Fuck God.
Anyway, so they open a portal to Limbo and send Van Helsing in on accident instead of the monsters, I guess, or something. After the German girl recites the words from the Book of the Dead, Klaatu Verada, necktie, nickel. It was an N word.
Ah, fuck! We fucked up the words, and therefore we get trapped in limbo instead of the monsters. Except that, and this is again the problem that I have with this movie and why it's frustrating, because it's close to being really, really, really good. That doesn't make sense inside of their own lore.
No,
because then they talk about how, like, well, you have to do the ritual every 100 years or the evil escapes and takes over. But they fuck the ritual up, trap themselves in limbo, And only now Dracula's coming back. Like, he got banished for 100 years himself. Which,
I mean,
like...
maybe he was playing Final Fantasy 14. He got busy.
Maybe it's just busy. Oh, man, did you know that they have, like,
they have a free trial all the way up to
that you can just...
Yeah.
God damn it.
Anyways, that happens. And then it fast forwards to the 80s.
Yes.
The 1980s. A different era.
Yeah.
And we're introduced to all the kids at school. Two of them are talking to the principal about monsters, and the principal has to do, like, you know what's really cool? And he pulls out a chair and puts his baseball cap backwards.
That was actually hilarious. That was really well done. You know, monsters are pretty cool, kids, but you know what's also cool? Science. Because you guys aren't paying attention in science class.
It's things like this where I'm like, God, that's funny.
It nails certain things.
That's so funny. And then the whole time the kids are just arguing about, like, the Wolfman. Man, the Wolfman can't drive a car. He could totally drive a car. Nuh-uh.
And this is the dialogue that's good. I do really like their, like, arguments about the monsters.
And for some reason, then it hard cuts to a plane that is transporting Frankenstein's monster in a casket. Just out of nowhere.
Dracula.
And Dracula's there. And then Dracula, like, uppercuts a guy. Street Fighter style.
Yes. And then just fucking leaves.
And just leaves. Drops the casket into the swamp and fucking leaves and flies out of the plane.
Yup.
I guess.
And I did want to say something really, just extremely briefly. It's really weird to me that we just had Sopranos actors in our last movie. Mm-hmm. And the pilot that gets punched out is another Sopranos actor. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Some of the kids feel like Brooklyn kids, where they're speaking that, like, Italian accent, too, almost.
Yeah. It feels a little New York
it's
for
very,
this movie, which is
very
funny.
New York, yeah.
Because it's very much like they're in Ohio.
It's Midwest somewhere.
Like, yeah.
With a swamp, apparently.
Strange.
So maybe it's Florida?
It is extremely nondescript. It's small town America.
Somewhere.
It's literally every part of small town America, all of it.
And then coincidentally, after Frankenstein falls out of the plane, Frankenstein's monster, Mary Shelley's the name of the...
Yeah, that's
the scientist. Yeah. Then Midwest Mom buys her son a book from, like, the library book sale by some Van Helsing or whatever. I don't know. She just drops it off.
It's by this Van Helsing guy, and it talks about all these monsters. Except it's in German, so I couldn't read it, so how would I know it's about monsters?
The kid can't read German either, so he's like,
and the kid can't read German either, so he's like, oh, thanks, I guess.
And then he wants to go see a horror movie, and he's talking to his dad to try and get him to give him $5. This is a really funny scene.
This was really good.
Because he's like, can I have $5 to go see the horror movie? It's just a guy with an axe. You already know the ending. It's a guy with an axe. Yeah, but it's filth and I want to see it.
Well, he came back from the grave. He always comes back from the grave.
What, he's gonna come out of the grave and kill a guy with a fucking egg beater or something? That was part 7.
Yeah.
God damn it.
We're gonna scatter his ashes across the ocean. He's like, yeah, that was the last one. Yeah, there's a good bit there. And then he's like, well, can I have it? And he's like, you have to stay here. You have to be babysitting. It's like, well, can I have $5 then? Yeah, absolutely.
Can I have $5 anyway? Absolutely.
Which, like, that's some fun dialogue.
There's things I like about this movie. Yeah.
Like I said, I hate how much we're gonna have to hammer that, like, it's a disappointment up, down.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like, wow, that's hilarious. Oh
my god. It sucks. Wow, this is good. Ugh. Yeah.
Anyways, at the same time as he then is watching the movie, because he doesn't even pay, he just takes the $5 and then sits on top of the roof and watches a drive-in from far away.
Yeah.
So, like, he didn't even need the $5. At the same time, though, a guy wanders into the police station. Is like, I'm a werewolf. Lock me up. Kill me. Murder me.
Just coincidentally, the Wolfman shows up in the same small town America where Frankenstein's monster and Dracula also are happening to show up right then, exactly 100 years later. And it also happens that
And the mummy left.
Book of Van Helsing showed up. Oh yeah, and the mummy got shipped in at the same time. And it also happens to be when Van Helsing's book landed in this kid's lap, and the amulet had happened to get into this city too, through we don't know why.
And the kid has a cop dad.
And I'd have been fine if they'd just said, like, oh, well, evil gets attracted to the amulet every 100 years. Like, they just need one throwaway goofball bullshit thing about that, but the way that it's done just feels like they didn't know how to set it up.
We watched Ernest Scared Stupid. That had a story about this troll comes back every 100 years and is hidden in a tree. And they set up the tree, and then Ernest goes and builds a fucking tree house on the tree and releases the troll. They just needed something like that. You know, like when a kid hits
it doesn't need
they
to
could have done the Sandlot.
Something that makes sense.
Where they hit the baseball and it goes into the guy's house. They could have done that, but it goes into the guy's house and it knocks free something that then releases Dracula, right? Like,
yeah.
That's all they needed.
Exactly. Like, they needed something, anything about that. One of the things, too, I do want to mention, so, speaking of coincidences, they also have in this town, there's a side character that's Scary German Guy, they call him. And he's just the town German dude that they find terrifying because he's German and foreign and, scary. Which is very convenient that they have a German
but they need translated by a German.
And I also wanted to say one thing very quickly, and we can move past it now. They don't do a lot of setup, and they leave a lot of the characters as really one note.
Yes.
So why did they have to make this guy a Holocaust survivor in our funny kids movie?
Yeah.
Is there a reason? Because I don't
think
get
got
it.
The book translated and got pie. And one of the kids is like, yo, Scary German dude is bitchin'.
Scary German guy's bitchin'.
Yeah, which was great. German guy's bitchin'.
I fucking love that. Then he's like, wow, German guy, you know a lot about monsters. Yeah, I do. Wink at the camera, zoom in on the Auschwitz tattoo, and then never talk about it again.
What the fuck?
Why?
What the fuck?
Fucking why?
Don't do that. Just no.
It didn't
no.
matter. It brought up a very uncomfortable topic for no reason, and then didn't do anything with it.
Kids like Halloween movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's super weird. So Dracula finds Frankenstein's monster in the swamp after getting the creature from the Black Lagoon, and the mummy and the Wolfman, because he's got his crew that he hangs out with.
Yeah, they're dropping some hot
They're dropping fat beats. There's a couple scenes where they're all standing together. I'm like, that's an album cover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But when he finds Frankenstein's monster, he opens up he pulls out the two eyeballs from the skull on his cane, which are actually electric probes, and then he opens up and extends his cane into the sky, because it's actually a lightning rod.
Uh-huh.
and he uses that to revive Frank, and I'm like, fuck yeah.
See, like, I don't mind. That makes no sense. But it's fun, so go with it.
Yep.
I'm fine with that. That's great.
And he
it's
tells
so good.
He tells Frank that he needs to go kill a bunch of kids to get Van Helsing's diary. So he sends him off on his own to go do whatever. And while they were getting the story, Van Helsing's diary, translated, Scary German, which I don't know if he ever gets a name other than Scary German.
Nope, he's known as Scary German Guy. As far as I know,
Great.
I'm pretty sure that's just his name. The Holocaust survivor does not get a name beyond Scary German Guy.
Yeah, I don't think he does. But he explains the story about how the evil is dealt with by the scary amulet, but the amulet is weak once every 100 years on midnight. And that day happens to be tomorrow. Wow, how convenient.
Yeah.
And if you recite the words by a virgin in German, then it will open up a portal to Limbo, which will send everybody that gets sucked into it back to the medieval ages to fight the Deadites.
Dracula versus the Deadites, sequel to Monster Squad 2.
Yeah, the Limbo portal, by the way, looks very similar to the portal in Evil Dead 2, which came out the same year. Which I think is very funny, actually.
Yeah, no,
And
the effect is exactly the same.
it's the exact same effect. And also, there were a ton of complaints by critics at the time. Not the complaints we had, by the way. The CGI was the complaint at the time.
Huh.
And I'm like, it just looks like every other movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. But
And I did triple check. It is just scary German guy. He never
scary
gets it.
German guy.
I can't believe they gave him enough backstory to make him a Holocaust survivor and then don't give him a fucking name.
He has like a military jeep. Why?
Yes. Yeah, he's also driving later. Like, he's driving a full-on, like, Korean War MASH, vehicle.
I think he's
Fucking
technically
weird.
part of the Monster Squad. They just don't give him a name. Right? Because by the end, he's just the squad. Like, he's there.
Oh, yeah, he's just part of it.
Like, okay.
That's something I think that they fuck up, too, but we can get to that later.
Yeah, they do. Anyways, the kids hear the story about needing a virgin to recite the German words, which are nonsense, which then sends Dracula into limbo. So then they go up to their friend Rudy, who's the cool greaser kid, and they're like, hey, know any virgins?
Which was really funny, yeah. I liked the whole subplot of them trying to find a virgin. I did think that was actually really good.
I think it's funny in a way. Like,
Yes. Like, it rides a
very
line,
silly.
but I think that it's okay. Because, like, then they get the one kid's sister, and they're like, you're a virgin, right? Like, we need to... They get her up in the clubhouse, and, like,
Yeah.
Rudy has this big crush on her, which he's peeping on her the whole...
He's a
But
peeping
we're gonna
Tom,
brush
yeah.
over that, but this is that, like you were saying, the Porky's kind of
The
side
worst
of it.
part about that is that he teaches Frank to be a peeping Tom, and that
Yeah, they
is
teach
bad
Frank and stuff.
influence.
They put a camera up to take pictures of her in her room as she changes,
Ugh, yeah.
and then they
It's-
blackmail
it's-
her with it. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's the part that is really
There's-
fucking bad. I'm like,
Yeah, like-
yeah.
with the slurs and this, there's definitely like it's
Every
hard
now
to
and
recommend
then.
this movie.
But then there's the 80s montage where they're making silver bullets out of spoons and stealing
And that's
arrows
great.
to cut them into, like,
Gigantic steaks that he can fire out of a bow.
Right.
Yeah.
and there's the scene where the Black Lagoon monster steals a Twinkie, and I'm like, man, that's funny.
Yeah, there's just some weird shit in this that's good. Like,
It's just
again,
constant railroad of up and... Or not a railroad,
It's that
but like a
roller
roller
coaster.
coaster of up and down. And I was like,
Yeah.
I want to like this movie, and I can't.
The little girl meets Frankenstein. Frankenstein becomes her friend, and then all the other kids are like, "Oh, but he's scary," and she goes, "Don't be chicken shit."
Stop being
And
chicken
like
shit.
4.
She's 4 or 5,
Which
which
is
is so
great.
funny.
It's so goddamn good. But anyway, so they ask the sister to be. They're like, "Okay, well, hey, you're a virgin, right?" And she goes, "Yeah, sure."
Obviously.
Obviously, I'm not gonna tell you guys. Fuck off. But I have
Which
a
comes
whole
up
little thing with
later,
that,
of
which
course.
I actually thought that whole little subplot was really funny. I thought that was
That's
pretty
funny.
good.
But they need to get her sister help. 1, because they need a virgin, and 2, they need someone
Mhm.
that can read German, and she's failing German in high school, so
Yes,
she's
obviously
perfect.
the best pick. She's all they got. Yeah.
But later she does read the thing, and then she's like, that didn't work. You're not really a virgin, are you? Well, Steve, but that doesn't
Steve,
count.
but he doesn't count. Steve's my freebie.
I'm like, God damn it. Like, that's a good joke, I think. Yeah. It's just everything that led up to that moment that sucks. That's the problem.
Yes.
Anyways, they 80s montage, get ready for battle. During the 80s montage, they make business cards, which
Yep.
does come up for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason.
And then they attack Dracula's stronghold at 666 Shadow Grove, whatever street. And right when they walk in the door, Dracula's standing there with like a cartoon plunger.
Yes, to blow up a wall so he can get the amulet.
so he can get Frank and blow up the wall. Because he causes a collapse in the doorway, which takes out
Well,
Frank
he doesn't
at the
know that
beginning.
he's getting Frankenstein's monster when he does that. It's just, again, there's so much coincidence in this movie. It's wild. Like,
And for some
because
reason...
he doesn't even push the plunger down.
It just falls on its own.
It falls on
Frank
its
is
own
walking. Yeah.
because Frankenstein walks into the house, the floor creaks, Dracula looks up, the creaking floor shakes the house enough to drop the plunger, and because the plunger drops, that blows up Frankenstein. What the fuck? Like,
Why?
it's just
I think
such a weird series of coincidence.
everything from when they get in the house to the end, I think is really solid, though.
Yes.
Like, it's just comedy, gore, like, action.
The gore was really surprising and was rad. I thought that was
It was
really
fucking cool. It was fucking cool. So, for some reason, Dracula can't just grab the amulet, because he already opened a hole to where the amulet is. Right? And that's not explained.
There's so much plot contrivance around that.
But they have to have the main character kid grab it so that Dracula can choke him out.
Yes.
Like Dracula does.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, Horace grabs a slice of pizza and rubs it all over his face, which has garlic in the sauce. So that causes Dracula to burn.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
And they can run away.
I guess. And as they're driving away, because they meet up with scary German guy and the rest of the monster squad, the mummy wraps part of the vehicle and jumps on. So then they shoot an arrow that's attached to the wrapping to a tree, which unwraps and kills the mummy immediately.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, I remember at the end of that, you went, well, that was easy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And we also find out that Dracula's been driving a hearse around town. Like, that's his cool vehicle that he has.
Yeah, and I went like, wait, why is he driving a hearse? And you're like, yeah, they should have shown him steal it or something. Like, you could have had a fun moment there of him going into like a, funeral home and
just taking it.
Terrorizing someone. Like, it's missing
Terminator,
a little bit of that.
You know, Terminator 2 when he steals the biker's clothes?
Yeah.
They could have done that with Dracula and a hearse.
Yes, like it's missing a lot. There's so much fun backstory stuff that is just rushed over instead of, even if they had shown him do what it actually happens, because it turns out it's a spooky ghost mobile.
It's a ghost car.
That can become intangible when he wants to, I guess. And then
Sometimes.
Intangible other times. But like, how rad would it have been if he had summoned the lightning to hit Frankenstein's monster and resurrected him, and then been like, now we need like a steed to take us forward, and like do like a magic spell, and there's a big glow, and then he like materializes a car. That would have been amazing.
That would have been sweet, yeah.
And it would have been it's stupid, but that's fine. Who cares? At least they'd have shown it. But instead, it's just like, wait, this car is intangible?
Like, instead he has Wonder Woman's invisible jet.
Yeah.
Basically, and it's just like, why?
And we don't know why or how he got it, or like, and we had no idea that it was intangible, because just the cops are driving down the road and they see a car coming towards them, and it just goes through them. And we're like, wait, it went through them? Why did it go through them?
Yeah.
So it just leaves you, instead of it being funny and kind of goofy, it ends up just being confusing, which is unfortunate. Because it could have very easily been funny and cool.
But after that scene, Dracula goes to the kid's house, grabs a bunch of cartoon dynamite, and then blows up their fucking treehouse.
He just starts blowing shit the fuck up with dynamite, which is...
a one-liner of something where he's like, oh... it was like a meeting adjourned, and then he blew up their fucking meeting house.
Yeah, because it's the Monster Squad's meeting house, and he throws a fucking bundle of dynamite into it, and he goes,
and there's no reason for him to do this. It's just out of spite for the pizza moment.
Which rules. Like, that's actually great. That's what the movie needed more of. It needed way more of this stuff.
It's so funny. It's so fucking funny.
And then he throws a piece of dynamite underneath the cop car and blows up the other cop.
Yep. And classic Trax faction. Or faction?
Yes.
Fashion. I can say words. Damn it. And then
And,
afterwards,
yeah.
Afterwards they go to the center of town because the kids are trying to run to a place that's religious. So they go to the church.
They're like,
And
we
they-
need lots of people and it needs to be religious so that we're safe.
So we're safe around people who can get killed by the universal monsters instead of us.
I mean, they send waves of cops at these monsters. Like,
Dracula kills like 20 cops with his bare hands, and it fucking rules.
I would say that it's inaccurate, but I know how over policed the U.S. is, so maybe there are that many cops.
Look, if it's a small town, maybe 40 people, there's at least 80 cops. You don't understand. Like,
right? Like, it's
they drive in
it's
from other
incredible how
towns
many
to
cops
police
there
them.
are. It is really incredible how many cops there are, though. Like, there's like 20 or 30 squad cars worth of cops that come after Dracula and his crew and just get absolutely annihilated.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
So the dad cop who's pissed that he blew up his partner, his cop car, and his son's treehouse,
yes,
goes after Dracula. And after they're in the center of town where the church is, they couldn't get in the church because it was locked, so they were kicking the door. And they were gonna fucking bash it down.
Dude, don't break the church.
Yeah, they stop it.
Tell
That's
the
religious.
greaser kid,
Come
like,
on.
hey man, I know that you're anti-authoritarian, but maybe don't fuck up the church.
Yeah, so one of them ends up shooting Dracula in bat form or something, and he flies in a window. So the dad goes after him, and then he sees a moment to be very funny. As Dracula's on the ground. So he picks up a stick of dime. He's like, yeah, eat this, fucker.
Yeah, I think he even says something like that. He's like, take this, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And just throws this stick of dynamite at that Dracula.
But the Wolfman knocks him out from behind.
Yes.
And then the kid shows up or something, and they end up pushing...
one of the kids does.
He puts the dynamite in the Wolfman's pants with his giant wolf schlong.
Correct. Yep.
Pushes him out the window, where the Wolfman explodes into a billion pieces of gore.
And they show it.
Yeah,
they show him his dismembered body on the ground, which rules. It's really surprising.
Then the body pulls itself together. Because they were arguing over how do you kill a Wolfman? A silver bullet.
It's great that they have a setup for this. It's so weird the things they choose to set up and the things they don't. Because all the things they choose to set up you'd have gotten it anyway. And all the things that they don't set up are like, you needed set up for this. They choose all of the wrong things. It's weird.
But they set up you can't blow up the Wolfman, so then they end up shooting him with the silver bullet that Greaser Kid made. And that worked. And he's like, you see, only one way to kill a Wolfman.
Which is a great callback because they had a test for him to join their crew of like monsters. Like, what are the 2 ways to kill a Wolfman? And he's like, silver bullets. And they're like, can the other one? And they were all like, I don't know, blow him the fuck up. Probably you could do lots of things. And it's like, can you? He's like, no, I'm pretty sure only silver bullets. And they're like, well, fine, you're in the club. I don't know.
It's good, yeah, because they were testing him. They were like, oh yeah, you know, oh yeah, you know colors? Name all of them.
Name all the colors.
Dumbass. Anyways, so the virgin thing doesn't work out because the kid's sister's not a virgin. So then they ask the 5-year-old to recite the German words because that will definitely work.
Yes.
Which makes sense. And the German guy is telling her the words to speak, and they're going back and forth. And then Dracula just casually walks up, punches the German guy, picks up this 5-year-old child by the neck, and is like, give me the amulet, you fucking bitch.
Yes, he literally calls this 5-year-old a bitch.
Which is such a Nightmare on Elm Street thing.
It's so good.
She's like, holy shit.
I unironically thought that was amazing. Like, it was actually really good.
Yeah, but then Frankie, who was befriended by the little girl, like the story of Frankenstein's monster, shows
Deus
up.
Ex Machina shows up, obviously.
And he's like, and the whole time, by the way, this kid's been teaching Frankie how to swear and say words like bogus and wuss and things like that, just to be a mean little jerk.
Yeah, they teach him to be a shithead like they are.
That's kind of great.
It's fun. Yes, I do like that. I think that's actually good.
So Frankie like taps on Dracula's shoulder. Dracula looks around like he's about to get punched, and then Frankie's like, bogus, and uppercuts him into the sky.
Yeah, and throws him onto some iron spikes where he gets like a spiked fence and he gets impaled.
Yeah, and they show like the impaling and him in the middle. I'm like, that's so fucking rad.
Yeah, it's great. And then the little girl does the rest of the incantation, and it sucks Dracula into the portal, and all the rest of them. And she has a moment with Frankenstein.
With Frankie, and she gives Frankie her favorite dog, like, stuffed animal called Scraps. And Frankie learned how to say Scraps. And he's like, oh, I love this little...
What's boy?
Oh, he's such a good dog. Why did he have to
leave?
He's
a good boy.
Oh.
Poor Frankie.
But my favorite part is... Because Dracula tries to grab the main kid as he's getting pulled into the limbo portal. And the kid, like, stakes him through the heart.
Yes.
As he's going through. And then as he gets to the portal... Van Helsing just shows up again.
Yes.
And grabs Dracula from behind and is pulling him back into the portal. And then he gives the kid a thumbs up. And the kid thumbs him up back. And you're like, yeah, fuck yeah.
That's so good.
The dumbest shit.
And that's why I want, to emphasize, it's not that I care that this movie makes sense or not. It just needs to work in its own universe. Yeah. And Van Helsing having been previously sucked into limbo... This works in the universe, right? Dracula's getting pulled into limbo. Van Helsing shows up, gives him the thumbs up. That's fucking great. I'm
the
cool
stupid
with it.
thumbs up at the end is, oh my god, it's
just
inspired.
It's listen to their own universal rules. Yeah.
The ending's really dumb though, because
god, yes.
Midway through the movie, while they're doing the montage, one of the younger kids is writing a letter. That's like, Dear Army, there are monsters in my closet. Come quick, Eugene.
Yes.
Or something. Like, that's the message.
Yeah.
And he mails it to Army.
Yeah, Army guys, please help me.
So we're like, clearly this is a stupid joke.
And then the military shows up.
And then the Army shows up.
And they go, Eugene? Are you Eugene? We're here to kill the monsters in your closet.
Yeah.
Sorry, we already did that with
we already killed the
Monster Squad in the Passima
card. The fucking business card they
I actually kind of love it. More than I talk about that, I'm kind of coming around on it. It's the one time where it goes too stupid.
It's too dumb, but I wish
it's too dumb.
It could have been really good, is what I'm getting at. Like they could have set it up a little bit better, and that's the whole movie.
Yeah.
This could have been
that I agree with.
So good if it was just a little bit better.
Again, they needed more setup for that rather than like the 3 seconds of him writing the letter.
Yeah. There's also a dog. We've been talking for like dog. You thought the only dog was the Wolfman? No. There's a beagle named Pete. What does that dog do? Well, anyway.
Well, he gets into the treehouse. How does he get
up to the treehouse anyway?
That was a good joke. I know you were like, the movie can't say that. You can't have the characters in the movie question their own movie. I'm like, no, that's fine. Let it ride. That one's good.
Like, so there's just a beagle that follows them around, and it puts its paw on when they put all their hands in, like Goonies style.
And that wasn't fake dog paw. That was real. And it was a real dog paw.
And then the dog is just there, but doesn't do anything for the rest of the movie.
Except be a dog, which is the
just
best thing it can do.
Just a dog. Well, that's the Monster Squad. I don't know if there's much else to say, really. Like,
no, I think that we've kind of gone over our disappointments with the general structure and stuff. Where it's so
a frustrating film. Yeah, frustrating film. I think this is a film I think I would like to see a remake.
Yes.
I don't usually push for remakes. This is one I think could really get there.
Agreed. Yeah, this is one where you could actually do a remake of it. I mean, you could also just do a different movie that's the same style, if that makes sense.
Like Universal monster movies, Kids on Bikes. It doesn't need to be this film.
It doesn't need to be a specific remake of The Monster Squad. But like this kind of movie, this has a lot of promise, and if they did it better, it would be great.
Yes.
But here's my ultimate... I'm going to put my reviewer's hat on here for this. They should have made this movie better.
Wow. How could you say something so controversial yet so brave?
I mean, that's just what I am, man. I tell
two
the
white
straight
guys
truth.
on a podcast saying something so brave. Wow.
Yeah, like we're really well versed in a lot of things on here, and I just want to say, you know, with all of our expertise, like 165 movies or so now, they should have just done this one better.
Yeah.
I think they could have written more good words rather than more bad words. They could have done the better
words
writing.
gooder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyways, let's rate the dog. So there's Pete, who's a beagle, who's a dog. That dog climbs up a treehouse and is there for every meeting. Has never missed a meeting.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a very dog that is willing to follow a schedule and be a part of the team and ask nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
That is a background dog out of 10. That's how I would rate
I'm
that
going to give this dog a 5 out of 30, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Because of the 5 fingers it puts on top of the other 25 when they all do their hands in.
That makes sense, yeah.
Fucking good dog.
High 5 out of 10. Dog,
this is the dog paw that it's real dog paw. I think this is the first time we've had real dog paw for a scene like that. You know, I'm a big fan of fake dog paw, but real dog paw, holy shit. I didn't know I needed that in my life, but real dog paw's pretty fucking good too.
There's the Wolfman who goes to the cops because he knows they shoot dogs. God damn it. And asks them to shoot him and lock him up. And they do shoot him, but they don't lock him up.
Correct, because he's a corpse. But then he resurrects.
But he's a good boy, and he doesn't want to murder. He wants to help the Monster Squad kill Dracula. I feel like the Wolfman is secretly a good boy.
Absolutely. I'd say that he is a 5 out of 10 because he's halfway good and halfway bad.
I would rate this Wolfman oh my god, they should have got a better costume.
Oh, Jesus.
Because all of those transformation scenes were fucking awful, too.
I didn't find the transformations as bad as you did, but the end costume sucked. That was the bigger problem for me.
It looks like a Goosebumps costume is what it looks like, which is like cheap TV.
I have a different way to describe it. I would call this Wolfman a pug of the Wolfman world. Because it has a flat fucking face. There's like no snout to this thing. It's like an inbred Wolfman.
It's like it shouldn't exist, and it has trouble breathing.
Why did you make this wolf? Why did you crossbreed this Wolfman so that it can no longer breathe? Yeah. It's not okay. Stop going to breeders. There's many Wolfmen at your local pound that can be picked up. They're all good. Pick one of them.
I mean,
they're all
the last dog did get picked up and adopted, and that is Frankenstein's monster. And Frankie is adorable, loyal, loves toys, loves to swear, right? Will punch a Dracula.
Absolutely. Like, strangle Dracula.
That's a good dog. I was sad to see that dog get killed at the end.
I was. Frankenstein is probably the best. He might be the best character in this movie in a lot of ways.
That's the best character. But it's also the least divergent from its original story.
Yes. Yeah,
that's the other thing. I'm like, well, it's just Frankenstein's monster. Of course a little girl befriends him. Of course he's nice
not
and
actually
friendly.
A monster.
Like, it's so divergent from the story that I'm like, that's just Frankenstein's monster. Like, they literally parody it in Young Frankenstein.
I kind of love that they had this as, like, again, like we said, like he is just Frankenstein. Because so many times they fuck that story up. And actually, that's something that I wanted to say this. One of the things that I do really like about this movie is that you can definitely tell that the people that were involved in this were giant fucking nerds.
Yes.
Like, they were so into all of, like, a bunch of random weird kaiju and, like, strange 80s bullshit. There's a kid wearing a Robotech shirt.
Robotech.
The mom is like, here, this is for, like, your Godzillas and stuff. And it's like, that's the big one, right? And, like, she's, like, referencing all the... When you think about 87 in the US for Godzilla is still, like, a little bit on that edge of, like,
I think what
not
we
unknown,
notice as, like,
Far from
modern, well-known pop culture wasn't really when this came out. So
Not
these
as
types
much.
of references, I think, are more like, oh shit.
Like Robotech especially,
Yeah.
like the Robotech shirt and everything. Like there's a lot of little things like that, and how much they care about like keeping Frankenstein's monster accurate in a way, and different things like that. This is someone who really cared about these monsters, which I thought was neat.
Yeah. I wish it was better, though.
I know.
That's the problem.
I
can't
can only give
recommend
this-
it to anyone. That's
No.
the problem.
Yeah, I want to recommend scenes to this from this movie,
Yeah.
but not the whole.
No.
But then the scenes don't make sense, so it's like, well, just don't recommend it.
Yeah, and if you like
That's
things
our
on the
put it on the
whole-
box. Don't recommend it. It could have been written better. Right, better movie.
Just like our podcast, which also could have been written better. If you also think that, you could support us on Patreon.
Or tell us on social media. We're at Rough Cuts on Blue Sky and cohost.org.
Uh-huh. Yep. Or you can email us at roughcutscast@gmail.com and tell us all the things that we could do better about this podcast.
What right better can we do?
How much gooder could we be? Let's find out next time on Rough Cuts.
This ending is bogus.
Recording capacity?
Sure.
Alright, 1 second. Me. Ho, 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 working on my voice. Ho, ho.
You know I am recording this, right?
La, 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 la. I have to be pretty
good.
for the podcast. You don't understand. Oh, but this movie's killing you. So, all right,
It is.
let's record it on deck.
Yep.